Hi there, Laura here from 5 out of 4 Patterns with day 1 of our Key West Sew Along sponsored by Raspberry Creek Fabric. Today we're going to assemble our pattern. We're going to print it, we're going to tape it, we're going to cut it, and we're going to cut out our fabric as well. So get ready, let's get it done. Alright, so here we are, day 1, get ready to get started. And I'm getting ready to assemble my pattern pieces here, or my pattern pages. I've already got the first 3 pages taped together, and you can see I've got some scribbles here, some notes. These are just the hemband, the loops, the straps, and the underbust elastic. I just like to write it down so I don't have to look at the tutorial so much, but all that information is in the tutorial. Because there are some pieces that don't have pattern pieces, they just have measurements in the tutorial. Anyway, so what you're doing here, if you're new, is you are simply lining up the edge with no marking, this edge, this long edge, up to the gray line on the page before. You'll do the same thing on the bottom, lining up our diamonds. This is page 3. I'm going to grab page 4 and show you what we need to do. We are going to line this edge up with the gray edge, the gray line here. We're not going to cover the gray line. We're going to go right up to the gray line, also while matching this gray line at the bottom all the way across, and that also lines up your diamond. Now, if you need more assistance with putting your pattern together, we do have a sewing school video for that, and I will link it in the blog post so that everything is there for you, especially if you're new. Otherwise, I'm just going to get this thing done. Okay, so here we are. I have I have taped my pattern together. Now I'm preparing to cut. Now you just need to know what options you're going for. Like, are you going to make just the bikini top, or are you going to make the top? Are you going to band the tank or tankini, or are you just going to hem it? Are you going to make a knee-length dress or a maxi dress? All those options are things that you need to choose, and you need to cut out the pattern pieces that coordinate with what your choices are. Now, there's also an FBA pattern piece situation, so if you measure within the your FBA needs, and you need that FBA piece, you've got the bra over here. There's even a maternity option. So for me, because I'm not pregnant and I don't need an FBA, I'm going to cut the top. I don't know for sure if I'm going to band it or hem it. I'll decide that later, but I will go ahead and cut on the hem line, which is the lower line. I can always cut it shorter later, and then I will then cut the hem band just in case. So I have all the pieces that I need. Additionally, there's a cut chart for any extra pieces that are not in the actual paper pattern. That's things like your straps, even your hem band. If you want to do a band, there are measurements in the tutorial for that. But now that I've taped it all together, it's time for me to cut it all out. So I'm going to do that because I don't have near the space in my dining room that I do in my sewing machine, or sewing room, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off, the recording off, and go ahead and cut this out. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what pieces that I cut out from my project. Okay, so here we are. I've cut out most of my pattern, well, all of my pattern pieces, I should say, that I'm going to need. I even cut out the size medium FBA front, because I may make one for a bikini top for my daughter. So I wanted to make sure I had that so I didn't have to reprint it. So here's what we've got. We've got the bra fronts. This is the standard bra front. For me, I'm doing the size large with a B cup, so I've cut on the correct cup line. I still need to measure my daughter to double check which cup line to cut, so I've cut all 3 of them. So we have the bra fronts, all right? Then we have the bra back. So you've got 2 different pieces for the bra back. We next have the hem band over here. Additionally, we have the bodice front and the lower bodice back Okay, those are the pattern pieces that we just cut out, all right? Now, you'll have the same pattern pieces except you might have the knee length dress or you might have the maxi dress or whatever, but you'll have all the same pattern pieces that I do. Now, additionally, over here, I've written down all the little extras. I've written down the measurements I need for the loops, the straps, and the under bust elastic, all right? So I am going to now prep my fabric in order to cut it out. Now, if there are particular adjustments that you always make to your garments, say a full tummy adjustment or a sway back or something like that, something that you know you're going to need to make, you've made this pattern before, or you just know you need to make those adjustments, then go ahead and do those now. Make those adjustments to your pattern pieces and then cut your fabric out. Now, I want to talk through some of the fabric, what the needs are for some of these, because like for the bra or the bikini top, or the bra I guess it's called, you're going to need a couple of different fabrics. You're going to need a main and a lining. Those can be different or the same, and you may not also need power mesh. Now, I don't have power mesh. I thought I had power mesh, but I don't have power mesh. So I do have some lining that I'm going to use in place of that just so that you can see. So when you cut out, say, the bra front and the bra back pieces, you're going to cut a main, a power mesh, and a lining, all right? And that power mesh will be sandwiched in between your main and your lining. Now, if you don't feel like you need that extra support of that power mesh, then you'll just cut a main and a lining. Does that make sense? So I always do power mesh. I definitely do power mesh for my daughter. This will be my first bra that I'm making since I've lost a little bit of weight, so I'm not sure how much support I actually need, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment for me because I haven't really made anything for myself in a little while. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm doing the size large in the B cup. I'm going to sandwich, well, it's actually a heavy lining because I don't have any power mesh, so I'm hoping that gives me the support that I need. For my lining, I'm actually using the same fabric as my main. And I'm going to move these pattern pieces and I'm going to show you my fabric. Okay, so here we are with our pile of stuff. Now this is our our supplies. We're going to need clear elastic. I have a whole bunch of it that Jessica sent me and it's wonderful. This is a quarter inch clear elastic. Also I have 1/4 inch just regular elastic. Additionally, we'll need underbust elastics. This is 3/4 inch underbust elastic. So those are the 3 elastics we're going to need. So this is the fabric that I'm going to use for this particular make. A little bit of details here. This is not from our sponsor. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it shipped in time for me to get the fabric from them, which is a huge bummer. But I'm going to make some, Key West out of the fabric that I chose, both for myself and for my daughter, because the fabric I chose is lovely. So anyway, this is what I'm using. This is an athletic type of fabric, so it's got a lot of stretch, a lot of recovery. It's firm. It's going to give me a little bit of support. Also, it would be great for a swimsuit. It's really awesome fabric. Now, I'm going to use this fabric. I'm going to use for both the main and the lining. So when I cut main and lining, I'm going to cut 2, right? 1 main and 1 lining. So that's that. This here is the heavy duty kind of actually lining, but I'm going to be using it for power mesh, okay? It does have a lot of stretch to it. Well, not as much stretch as the main or as the regular fabric, but it is still not as firm as the power mesh that you're going to want to get if you need extra support. This stuff is pretty good though. I think I'll be fine. So I'll cut 1 of these for my bra, 2 of these for my bra. Does that make sense? All right, so I think it's time to get our fabric out and get it all placed and get our pattern cut out. Okay, so I'm laying my fabric out. I have a selvage on this side and I have a selvage on that side. So I'm going to fold it toward the center here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I know that I keep standing in the way and I'm really sorry. Let me get some pattern weights out to hold the fabric. Now I've said this before, if you have fabric that is coming off the edge of your table, don't let it just pull, okay? You can use pattern weights or you can pile the fabric up on top, because you see how it just wants to slide off? I don't want it to do that. Okay, I want it to stay where I put it. So let me go ahead and I'm going to fold this one a little bit too. If you just let it hang, even if it doesn't want to slide off, it will pull the fabric and it will stretch it out in spots. And so that means what you cut out is not going to be like the pattern piece itself, if that makes sense. It's just gonna be stretched out incorrectly. Okay, there we go. All right, just want to make sure. Okay, so now I'm going to, you can refer to the tutorial on how to set up your fabric on your, what am I trying to say, on your fabric, okay? There's a diagram to show you how to set it all up. I always suck really bad at that. I just kind of throw it all on the fabric. That's basically what I do. One of the important things to do is if you have a directional fabric, that you pay attention to the direction that it's going and make sure all your pattern pieces are facing the correct direction. So if the pattern on your fabric, the direction is all this way, you want everything to go the same direction. Otherwise it'll look upside down or whatever, and you don't want that. All right, so for mine, it is not directional. But I kind of want to keep everything going this way. So here's what I'm going to do. This is my bodice front. I'm going to turn this upside down. All right. Since I'm using my pattern weights, I'm just going to put that there. All right. I'm going to hang on to the hemband for a sec. Let's see if I can pull this up anymore. There we go. All right. I'm really sorry that I keep walking in front of the camera. Just want to get this all lined up properly. Okay, this is better. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take, this is the back. Let me put this one here. Okay. Now we've got, I don't need the FBA piece just yet. We've got the front bra. Now remember, I'm cutting 2 of these in this fabric and 1 in the lining or the power mesh. Okay, this is the bodice top back. You're just going to cut 2 out of that, all right? So I can put that here. And now this is the bra back. I'm sorry, it was just 1. You're actually going to cut 4 of them. So 2 in your main, 2 in your lining, plus another 2 in your power mesh. But since I'm using this for both main and lining, I'm cutting 4 out of this fabric, okay? And I will put that right here. Now take a look at your pattern piece and you'll see that there's a stretch mark here. So this arrow tells you which direction the stretch is supposed to go. So if I put it like this, like the greatest amount of stretch. Now this has 4-way stretch and it goes this way, but you want the greatest amount of stretch to go the direction of that arrow, and that's here. We know that's the main part of the stretch. Okay, all right, and I'll set this here. Now, then I'll have my hemband that I will cut out as well. So 4 of these. I'm actually going to put this one over here. All right. I think we're ready to get cutting. So again, as a reminder, I'm cutting 2 of the bra front. Whether you're doing the regular bra front or the FBA, you're still going to cut 2, 1 in your main, 1 in your lining, and then an additional 1 if you're using power mesh. Yes, I know that I need to get my scissors sharpened. Okay, there's 1. Move this down again. Okay, Now, hopefully you can still see what I'm doing here. I can push it up a little bit. Maybe. There we go. This is the bra back. Again, I'm cutting 2 in the main and 2 in the lining. So for my purposes right here, I'm cutting a total of 4. Okay, so there's my two mains and 2 linings. So I'm going to put that in the pile of things that need power mesh. So I've got my cutting mat out. It's time for me to cut my, let me grab that sheet, my hemband, my loops, my strap, and my straps. So we'll come back for the power mesh in just a second. Let's go ahead and finish up with this particular fabric. Let's look at our other requirements here. So for the loops, we need, it needs to be 1.25 by 10.5. I need 1 of those. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up this edge with my rotary cutter first, and then I can use that as my starting point. All right, so remembering that we only need 1, I'm actually gonna unfold this a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it today. I'm sorry if you can't see what I'm doing here. I'm doing my best. Okay. Now we need 1.25 inches by 10.5. This is for the size large. All right, these are for the loops. Now, if you're gonna get confused by what piece is what, I suggest labeling all of the pieces, just so you know, because it sucks to accidentally throw away what you thought was a scrap. It is actually a pattern piece. All right, so that's for the loops. For the strap, I need 1.25 by 55. Now, so that's basically the width of the fabric. And my cutting mat is not very big, so this is going to be a tiny challenge, which is okay. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to fold it in half again. Now this makes it extra thick to cut through. And I'm actually going to cut off this curling part because it's annoying me. So when you use your rotary cutter for this, you need a really sharp blade, and you also need to press really hard because you're trying to go through 4 layers of, this is athletic fabric, so it's not thin. So this is just cleaning up the edges. There we go. So that's going to make it easier for me to see. All right, doesn't that look nice? Now I need 1.25 inches. And again, I'm going to press hard. All right, we got it. Okay, so that's our strap. And the only thing left after that is to cut out our hemband. So again, you can either use measurements or you can use the pattern piece. It's totally up to you. Okay, there we are. So those are all the little extras. Hemband. Okay, the only other thing that I need to cut right quick is my underbust elastic. So grab your underbust elastic. Now here's the thing, there is a chart in the tutorial that gives you lengths of elastic. But what I find is every elastic is a little bit different. This one is super, super stretchy. Some of them aren't. Some of them are more firm than others. You've got all these different things. Plus, your body, every body is a little bit different. So you need to go with what's comfortable for you. Now, it may be fine that it fits perfectly with the recommendations in the tutorial, but it may not. If I look at the chart, it gives me a measurement of 23 inches, which is about here. Okay, so before I cut that, I'm going to put it around my body and make sure, make sure that it's going to be comfortable and I don't need to add more. Actually, it's going to be pretty good. This is a pretty stretchy, soft elastic. That'll be pretty good. So let's go ahead and cut that. All right, I'm going to put that to the side. That's my underbust elastic. Now let's grab our powder mesh. You can see I've used this a million times, so we're just going to start here. Okay. All right, so I know for my bra back that I've already cut 2 main and 2 lining. Now I just need 2 power mesh in mirror images. Okay, so double check your stretch is the way it needs to be based on the arrow, and here we go. All right, the next is the bra front. I've already cut 2 of the bra front. Now I need to cut 1 of the power mesh. Okay, so we have cut out all of our fabric. Isn't that exciting? You know what that means though, right? That we are done with day 1 and we are very, very ready to move on to day 2. I will see you tomorrow.